This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College at the University of Georgia, this is Grady Newsource.
Good evening, I'm Joshua Malik. We begin our show tonight with breaking news. Charlie Kirk, right-wing activist and founder of Turning Point USA, was shot at an event in Utah. Moments ago, President Donald Trump announced on Truth Social that Kirk has died. He wrote, "The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now he is no longer with us. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charlie, we love you." The Utah Valley University posted on X that campus police are investigating and that a suspect was taken into custody. But later reports said that that is not the case. Campus is closed and classes are canceled until further notice. Kirk drew huge crowds at UGA last October for a similar event. He came to rally voters for the Trump in the 2024 election campaign. We continue to follow this story and bring you the latest.
I said from day one.
We're following a developing story about the delay of a charter plane meant to pick up over 300 Korean workers detained by ICE at a Hyundai worksite in Bryan County. Grady Newsource reporter Ethan Wilcox has been following the story. What can you tell us, Ethan?
Authorities sent a jet to Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport this morning to pick up those workers and return them to South Korea. The workers had been held in an ICE detention center and were meant to be transported to the airport to get on the charter. However, the flight has been delayed with no official announcements as to when it will leave. And U.S. Barter Czar Tom Homan told CNN that people should expect more of these raids from the Trump administration.
I said from day one, we're going to increase worksite enforcement operations. It's a crime to enter this country legally, and it's also a crime to knowingly hire an illegal alien.
Thank you, Ethan. We understand that the plane is still at the airport and will continue to follow that. The Trump administration has released their new health strategy, which is focused on relieving childhood chronic disease. The plan includes more than 120 initiatives that Washington is using to, as they put it, address the root causes of America's escalating health crisis. Their goal is to get the food and health systems in America to work together better to protect the children. The Barrow County City Council will have a new board come spring. Grady Newsource reporter Abby Halpin has more on how it will impact the council.
Changes are coming to the Winder City Council. Next March, the Planning, Zoning, and Appeals Board will have an official spot in the local government. Mayor Jimmy Terrell says the new board will speed up the decisions being made.
Right now we have a planning team, and it may come to the council. Some things will come to the council and go back to the team, then back to the council.
The 7 board appointments will be done through Mayor Terrell and the members of the council. Each will nominate one person.
Applications are open to anyone, and Mayor Terrell hopes that younger minds on the board will help to provide fresh ideas.
We've publicized the fact that we're changing, and that if anyone's interested in serving on the board, they should contact us. They can go online, fill out an application.
The new board will be a new and updated version of the previous planning board and given decision-making power, including decisions on comprehensive plan adoptions and platting authority. Reporting for Grady Newsource, I'm Abby Halpin.
This is a story we will continue to monitor as appointments are made. Barrow County is holding an open meeting about the future of the county, being dubbed Barrow County Vision 2050. The initiative is broken into 2 phases. The first phase is inviting the community to speak and discuss their ideas for Barrow by 2050. The ultimate goal of the project is for the county to draft a plan at the end of the year based on citizen input. The first of these 4 meetings is on September 16th. Coming up, we'll take a look at how Athens Festival is making water conservation fun after the break.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I think I'm Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far.
A place that I call home. I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna. It only takes a spark to make a fire start.
The Dutch.
Thank you.
Study, please.
I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
Your home before sunrise. On top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Do you know where your water comes from? Grady Newsource reporter Sophia Stamford tells us how a beloved Athens festival answers this question through community outreach.
At the Athens Water Festival, kids play in the water with bubbles, watch water-themed magic shows, and create watercolor paintings. Athens Clark County Water Conservation Coordinator Jackie Sherry, whose department hosts the festival, says this event isn't just for children.
From a toddler to someone, in their 80s, everyone uses water every single day.
She says if people know where their water comes from, they can be better stewards of it. Athens Clark County's water comes from 3 sources: Bear Creek Reservoir, North Oconee River, and Middle Oconee River. Since all these sources are surface level and rely on rainfall, more conservation is needed in times of drought. Warnell School of Forestry and Natural Resources master student Clay Counts says this conservation is important.
We need to work on getting the general community to just understand first and foremost that water is not unending. It's a limited resource, and in fact, we are running out of drinkable water.
University of Georgia Water and Soil Resources major Sam Scalia, who volunteers at the festival, says he is grateful they are able to do this outreach.
I'm really glad that we get to take what we're really passionate about with water resources and that we can provide that education and outreach to the greater Athens Clark County area.
This year, the festival brought in around 1,300 attendees. That's 200 more than last year. The event continues to grow and is held every year the Saturday after Labor Day. Reporting for Grady Newsource, I'm Sophia Stafford.
Jackson County's Board of Education plans to roll back the millage rate from 15.4 mils to 15.3 mils. This change allows the government to collect the same amount of revenue from its properties that it did last year. Jefferson City officials plan to keep the property tax rate of 4.3 mils for next year. The Oconee Sheriff's Department is taking steps to reduce deadly encounters. Deputies are now training with a 40mm launcher, which gives them a safer way to handle dangerous situations with less lethal alternatives. Reporter Lauren Wright gives us a closer look at how this lethal training course went.
Oconee County Sheriff's Department is prioritizing safety for both its deputies and its community through specialized training on less lethal 40mm devices. These tools are designed to de-escalate dangerous situations and reduce the risk of fatality. This training class highlights why officers are turning to less lethal options during high-stakes situations.
The purpose of the training yesterday was to get some of the new people certified on the use of this weapon.
For deputies here in Oconee County, deputies say it's not just about officer safety, it's about protecting the community and its residents too.
We want to use that. We don't want to have to use any of it at all, but in the event that we do, I hope they know or want them to understand what we're using is we're trying to, not have to use, we're trying to use as less force as possible to make sure we still can do our job.
Currently, I am outside the Oconee County Sheriff's Office where deputies are learning how to use a 40mm rifle, but it's not a traditional rifle. Instead of firing bullets, it fires foam rounds, giving deputies a safer way to stop suspects without using deadly force.
It was a lot of information, but it was a lot of useful information. And like he said, it was just another tool on our belt to keep us from having to use lethal force.
This training equips deputies with practical skills to do their job.
Tasers in our hands, but now having this, if we have somebody who's potentially barricaded themselves for a larger disturbance, it's nice to have.
The suspect has a weapon in their hand and refuses to drop it. The police say they can use a 40mm impact round that will hurt them enough to comply, but is not lethal. It's a tool used to promote law enforcement safety and the safety of its citizens. Lauren Wright, Grady Newsource.
After the break, we'll go to weather reporter Derek Oliveros and take a look at the forecast for the rest of the week and the weekend. Don't go anywhere.
During high school, I hung with the wrong crowd and I never graduated.
I helped Santiago in many different ways, like all fathers do, because he always wanted to go to college.
I felt a little embarrassed to come back to school, but eventually, once I came here, I knew that it's for a bigger goal.
He was very dedicated, hardworking. He connected with his teachers. He connected with other students. That was one of the key reasons why he was able to keep forging ahead.
It was amazing to see him graduate. This was one thing that meant so much to him, and of course, it meant so much to us too.
With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed. That support is everything.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
I think I finally found. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far.
A place that I call home. I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna. It only takes a spark to make a fire start. The Dutch. Thank you.
Study, please.
I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
Hello, I'm Derek Oliveros with a look at the weather for the end of the week. This week started sunny and the great weather is going to continue into the weekend. Today we've got a high of 81, which will go down to a low of 57 later tonight. Precipitation was an issue for the past few weekends, but this upcoming weekend looks to be dry. Chances of participation over the next 5 days average out at about 6%, so you won't have to make any last-minute changes to your weekend plans. Although we're heading into fall, the high temperatures are going to continue increasing as the days go by. You may see a few clouds here and there on Friday and Saturday, but I would bank on the sun being out for most of the weekend. On Sunday, we may see highs of 87, showing glimpses of summer weather. Hot, sunny weather calls for more hydration, but as temperatures keep increasing year by year, so has sugar intake. A recent study published in the Nature Climate Change Journal shows that the hotter it is, the more people consume sugar. The main reason for this increase is because of sugar-filled drinks, with frozen desserts also playing a part. When it gets hot out, many people choose drinks full of sugar to hydrate themselves. The research also shows that households with lower income and education levels are more likely to see an increase in their sugar consumption. These households are more susceptible to an increase in sugar intake over time due to a lower intake of nutrients and poorer dietary quality in combination with increasing prices of food and food scarcity. Now, after looking at all this research, it looks as if water is the healthiest way to hydrate if accessible. If you don't have anything planned for the weekend just yet, there's always something to do in Athens. On Friday, Livewire is hosting the Horde Festival Revival, which hopes to bring back the energy from the 90s festivals of the same name. And before you watch UGA take on Tennessee in football this Saturday, you can attend the Marigold Farmers Market in Pittard Park for local produce and much more. For today's weather with Grady Newsource, I'm Derek Oliveros. It's a big weekend for Georgia football. Coming up, we heard from head coach Kirby Smart on how the team's preparing for the SEC opener against the Tennessee Volunteers.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
You're home before sunrise, on top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She carried 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand, trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Good evening. I'm Sydney Palmer bringing you today's sports update. This weekend, the Georgia Bulldogs will hit the road for Knoxville in their first away game of the season. Not only is this the first away game, but it's also the SEC opener for both teams. Kickoff starts at 3:30 this Saturday in the Neyland Stadium, which showcases UT's familiar checkerboard pattern. And it's anticipated that Saturday's game will be sold out, filling the whopping 101,915 seats in the Neyland Stadium. And with the game being the SEC opener, it'll be a tough task for the Dogs, as Tennessee's home record since the start of 2022 season is 21-1. I attended Monday's press conference ahead of the anticipated game, where head coach Kirby Smart outlined the recipe for success on Saturday.
And that starts with stopping the run and not giving up big plays. Those are the 2 key ingredients to Tennessee is, can you stop the run and can you not give freebies?
Monday's press conference came after Georgia's unconvincing win against Austin Peay last Saturday. Georgia entered Sanford Stadium ranked number 4 by the AP. However, due to the slow start on Saturday, with only 14 points scored in the first half, Georgia dropped to number 6 with a final game score of 28-6. And despite Tennessee being ranked number 15 by the AP, they won 13 of their 15 regular season games and are off to a 2-0 start for the 4th straight year under their head coach, Josh Heupel. And ESPN's College Game Day will be in Knoxville for the first time since 2022, kicking off at 9 a.m. in Ayers Hall. But if you aren't heading to the good old Rocky Top this weekend, you can watch the game on ABC at 3:30. And that's a look at sports with Sydney. Now let's go back to Josh at the news desk.
Thanks, Sydney. Before we go on update about breaking news. Good evening. I'm Joshua Mallett. Charlie Kirk, right-wing activist and founder of Turning Point USA, was shot at an event in Utah. President Trump announced on Truth Social that Kirk has died. He wrote, "The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now he is no longer with us. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charlie, we love you." The Utah Valley University posted on X that campus police are investigating and that a suspect was taken into custody, but later reports say that is not the case. Campus is closed and classes are canceled until further notice. Goodbye.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app.
One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
You know, a lot of people say, when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. For her to see her father celebrate his graduation, it's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie and say it was easy. But sometimes you just have to stop everything and take it in. I looked at everything in a different light. And I realized it started with me going back and getting my high school diploma.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
Oh, it's not working? Yeah. All right, so we can start again from the beginning. For our viewers, we'd like to welcome our viewers and thank them for joining us again. We haven't been here for the whole summer. We have a new class of very, very talented people who will be providing you with information that we hope will be useful and interesting. And this is our first live show, which we did a shorter live show, less is more. We try to provide the best content that we could as our first time. And I'm very, very proud of those who managed to produce some very high quality content. And I'm very proud of those who did their best today. You are all at a different level. And as I said, you would be wasting your time in this class with me if I didn't have something to give you, something to help you learn, and something to teach you. So we have a lot to learn, but we have the whole semester in front of us. I was really impressed with our mock show where you had 2 weeks to work on videos, and you did very well. You produced very sophisticated content. And I'm sure that you will do that now in a day or in two. All of you worked very hard. And do not be discouraged that even though you put so much work into today's content, you were not able to finish it in time. And so I would like to really say that I'm very lucky to have had Izzy as our TV producer today. And Izzy, I would like for you to come and say a few words. Is this your first time producing? She did amazing. She was as cool as a cucumber when, when the packages started falling through. But I think we learned a lot. We caught breaking news, and that was, again, Tyler, our digital producer, also very strong, very good work today. The two of you worked very well together. It was not an easy day because we had that breaking news, and we were able to provide visuals for the breaking news. Lauren, thank you very much. Lauren found photos that she had taken, and so I thought that our breaking news at the top of the show was very, very strong because we had our own content to show, our own visuals to show. And Izzy, I would thank you very much, and I would like to give you the mic for you to share some thoughts about today.
Obviously, it didn't go as planned. We only had 2 to 3 packages, and there's supposed to be like 11. And kind of the same, I was really impressed after the mock show. I was expecting to see a little bit more, and that kind of made my job hard as producer because usually it's just deciding the order of stories, not deciding what to even talk about. Luckily, not luckily, but if we didn't have breaking news, we wouldn't have had a show. We would have had sports and weather, and you guys did so well. So thank you for being prepared and having nice long packages for us to talk about. And hopefully I get the chance to produce again in the future when everybody's refined their skills a little bit more, because I like the idea of it. I just feel like today was kind of a mess. So hopefully we'll be better for next week.
That's what I was telling each and every one of you when you came with long faces and, you know, we couldn't put a package together today. You would be wasting your time, as I mentioned, if you could do everything from day one. And I thought that today was a big learning experience for all of you, and that is how it should be regarded, as an opportunity to learn, as an opportunity to bond. I saw how everybody chipped in with this breaking news, and Lauren thinking of, oh, I have those photos, and I was so happy to see how all of you came together and gave whatever you could from yourselves to help. And you managed to put it all together and keep it going. Josh, I don't know how this script at the end ended up with we begin this show, because we copied and pasted without that part, but obviously it ended up there. And this has happened. This probably has happened to me. I don't think I've read We Begin, but I've done other things on air, and you shouldn't feel bad about this. The thing is, you should be very locked into your content and be focused on the next sentence as you're finishing the last sentence. Look at the next sentence, but that comes with a lot of practice, so don't worry about it.
It's like good evening, and so I was like,
yeah.
Saying good evening again, and then like, so I read that part, and then it just kept going, and I was like, oh wait, I'm reading the beginning again.
Yeah.
So I tried to cut to where the beginning.
Yeah, and I told Joshua, say goodbye, and he thought that I just, I said,
goodbye. So my mind goes, okay, I'm going to say goodbye.
Because that script was all wrong, and I just wanted him to, he gave us the most important information. So when I say, or when your producer says in your ear, as a producer, you try to be very specific, very short, because the person, you know, is either ad-libbing and they need all their focus on what they're going to say next. So you have to be very concise, right? Just say goodbye, which means finish up your sentence, whatever you're going to say, and then say goodbye to the viewers like you would, you know. Thank you so much for joining. This is the late, you know, we'll continue to follow this story. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Joshua Malik. But that's fine. This is your first time. Don't be hard on yourself. So that's for all of you. That's how as a producer, that's how you should communicate. Be very clear, very concise. And for you as anchors, you should know that you're only given the direction in which you should go, and you interpret that, and you finish that off on air. So I think that you guys learned a lot today. I would like to go for the rest of the moments that we have here, and each one of you who had a challenge today, just say one thing that they learned and share it with the class, and one thing that they did well, because all of you, even if your packages didn't make it, you still did good things and you still worked hard. And the one thing that you will work for next time so that you're able to meet your deadline and produce a package. Each one of you did good work today and has something positive to say about themselves, and each one of you, I hope, learned something today. So, Caleb, should we start with you?
What I learned today?
What you learned today, and what you did well, what you thought you did well, and what you're thinking there's one thing that you're going to be working on for next week.
What I did well today, I thought while not being able to communicate with people attached to my beat for as long as I didn't, I thought I was able to get good sourcing and even like throughout the day connect with other people that will help me in the future while I like tackle my beat. And I thought I had a good interview and I thought I had a good basis. I struggled with connecting it to more of a local sense, but hopefully next week I can get in touch with people and try to, I don't know, I guess further the same type of direction I'm on at the moment. And yeah.
And one reminder, some of you did not realize that they had to give me their fully transcribed, full script for me to approve before you edit your video. So no script goes on air without me approving it. So do not edit your package. You could do a few preparatory edits, of course, but do not put it together until I have verified your facts, until I've checked your script and given you some ideas as to how to do the package. So that is a must. No package will go on air without me having checked it, approved it. So bear that in mind. And it has to be, all your sound bites have to be fully transcribed. Every word in your script needs to be transcribed so that I can see the logical flow, I can check all the facts. And so please remember that for next time. Over to you, Derek.
A hiccup that I had today was earlier in the day trying to find sources for the weather package. As we saw, there wasn't a source in the weather segment other than me referencing the research. And I reached out to, I think, about 5 people. Someone got back to me. I was able to get an interview, but the content of the interview didn't really add anything to the segment. So I think that's just on me for trying. I should try and reach out to sources earlier so I have more sources available to me. And with the sources that I am able to talk with, make sure to have a bunch of questions prepared to try and get the good answers. Because I honestly was not expecting anyone to get back to me, so I didn't really have questions prepared. So it was kind of just like on the way there, just writing anything that I could think of, just so I could be ready at the interview.
Yeah, and always think of the source and what the source's expertise is and whether they can answer that question. You had a health question for a meteorologist, for a professor of climatology, so that's why what she told you was this needs to be more researched, because she could not talk about that. But you had some good content for us. You had a primary source, and you could have smiled at the end when you were talking about drinking water a little bit more. Yes, but you delivered. You delivered. So, Mickey, what did you learn and what did you do right today?
Alrighty, so I learned that don't get too ahead of a story. News needs to be today, possibly not next week. And I think that's where I made a mistake. I just got a little too ahead of the story, and those stories are great for editorial, but those are not good broadcast stories because you just don't have visuals. So yeah, definitely learned that. I still made something by 4:20 today, which is because I'm a good editor, so I can whip up something in 15 minutes, even if there's not a lot to work with. So I do that well regardless, but yeah, just want to make sure for the rest of the semester, even though I don't live in Jackson County, I kind of stay a little bit more up to date with what's going on in my beat and what's going on in my county without having to rely on press releases or just board meetings and stuff, actually maybe knowing what the streets are talking about.
Yeah, it's, your story was very important, but again, for broadcast, certain stories are not ready for broadcast until, as you said, there's something you can film the actual event. And sometimes you can do an advancer piece, but that again means going to someone who has been to who's donated blood and make that person a character in a story to say, this is what's going to happen next week, this person had that experience, and just give us a preview of what it was for this person, what it meant to that person, what does it take to go and be a blood donor, what goes through your head, things like that. So it could have worked, and it's a very important story, and I look,
Whoever the producer is next week, if something falls short, you'll have this in your back pocket.
Yes, but still, I don't want you to give up on advancers. If you think ahead strategically for stories, you can still do a story it's important. Sometimes it's important for people to know ahead of time so that there will be more blood donors. If there are people who are kind of on the fence as to whether they want to do it, your advancer story will show them an actual person and that person's experience, and maybe it will make them go to next week and donate blood, which is so important. So I wouldn't give up on your ability to think strategically. It just has to be a so-called advancer story where it's wrapped up around somebody who has done this before. That would be my advice. Don't give up on that. I like that. I like that. Your package was commended by Dr. Duck. She was watching the show. She loved the way you opened it,
okay.
And she, yeah.
Well, that was your idea.
Very strong package. Executed very well.
Yes, thank you. I was happy that I got to make a package today or the specific package, because my one from Monday I feel was weaker because it was just shots of buildings and signs. So I was really excited to do this one because it had a lot of video opportunities, and so it was really easy to just show cute kids running around and water. And so I thought that was something I did well, but it also the story kind of lent itself to it. And then I think something I would want to be better about for future stories is that it wasn't very newsy. It was about an event that happened over the weekend, and now it's Wednesday. So I feel it was a good package to have for today, but being more newsy and more recent about my stories.
Yeah, and we spent a lot of time talking about that, which I was very happy. I think we learned more about how to look for so-called news pegs. That is how our story really belongs in this particular moment in history. Is it tied to something that's happening now? So always think about happening now. What's happening now with my story? Is it happening today? And I think that was another thing that we brainstormed, and I thought that you guys learned a lot about what is newsworthy, not just because of its importance and impact, but what is newsworthy today and how to make it, how to tie it to something that's happening today. And we did come up with, you guys came up with 2 ideas of how 2 stories that were not so newsworthy could have been newsworthy today. So I thought it was a very, very interesting day for me as a professor. Even though we didn't have a full show, I feel a sense of gratification that we really learned a lot, which is the goal of this day and every day that you spend with me. And so, what about you, Ethan?
Yeah, so today I was the quick turn. So kind of going into today, I knew it was going to be hectic. So one thing that I'm proud of is I did feel like I really put in an effort. I reached out to people, I emailed them, I called them, and unfortunately I didn't get an interview. But kind of with the help of Izzy and Professor V, we were able to improvise and get something out. So I thought Izzy was creative, deciding to do a VO SOC kind of thing, because I think that was probably the best way that story could have gone, since I wasn't actually at the airport, right? We had to kind of come up with something, and then to research sound bites that we could use. So I think I was proud of the way we improvised that and came up with something. But one thing I could have worked on, I felt like when I was developing the script, I spent a while, probably 2 or 3 hours, gathering information. A lot of it I didn't need. A lot of it was kind of stuff we had already talked about on Monday's show. And I kind of realized halfway through, I'm like, okay, I'm trying to turn this into a package, but it's not a package, right? We just didn't have enough information for that. Exactly. So I think just kind of learning that, it was definitely a learning experience, but I think I'd be more prepared if I had to do it again.
Yeah, and you did very well. We really appreciate the content you provided, and yeah. And it was fun, isn't it? You did something day off. Yeah, yeah. Well, hopefully we'll try to make it worse for next time. Yeah. So, yeah. And so, Becca, what can you share with us? What you did well and.
So I guess I'll start with the bad. I think I spent.
We all have a negative bias. Yes.
I spent a lot of time on my video package to where I didn't spend as much time on the script. So I do need to spend a lot of time on the script and making sure that like I have that put together, because then that'll help me with the video package in the end. And then one thing I thought I did well is like my story had a lot of good B-roll that I really liked. I do need to figure out the difference between what's more newsworthy and, like you said, more like digital content type of stuff. But I think like the package itself is really good, and then like my computer crashed like 3 different times, and it was a mess. But then I get it. Yeah, but then it uploaded at like 4:30, and it was just a lot. So I just need a new computer. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean I have the video, so I feel like that's a win at least at some point. But yeah, that's what I heard.
And thank you so much again for being such a trooper. So you're a digital content creator,
yes,
Lauren.
Yeah,
I
think today what I learned is I wish I realized earlier that a lot of the things that I was creating throughout the day were dependent on other people, like what the other people were doing. So I had downtime that I could have utilized in a more strategic way, where I could have probably helped a few other people with like their packages and maybe like calling people and things like that. So I wish I had realized that a bit sooner before we had breaking news. But I think something I did well was when it came to the breaking news, I jumped on it pretty quickly and got some screenshots and some photos that I took and edited a lot quicker than I did previously, and so I was happy about that.
And I'm happy about that as well. Abby, you managed, you made it. Thank you, that was a good package.
Oh, thank you. I think something I did well today, I established, I think, a really good relationship with the mayor of Winder. We had a really nice chat, and he was defending me a lot and trying to help me as best as he knew how and as best as he could. So I'm glad I have that relationship. So in any further instance, to talk to him or somebody that he knows, I have that connection, and I'm really grateful that he chatted with me and really tried to help me. I wish my package was a little longer because it was only about a minute, and I wish it was longer if I had another source I could have talked to. I wish I had another source, and I wish my package was a little bit longer.
As your first package, we'll take it. We'll take it. Lauren, very strong package. Yeah. On time, everything.
I would say like a growth area. I would say like more precision and like editing. It was a little like it could be a little bit better. I think also just being like more creative as far as like B-roll and like thinking outside the box. Even though it's like a little bit difficult because it is the sheriff's office, but just coming up with something like better ideas so that it's like more creative each week. I would say one thing I did well was keeping a positive mindset because, oh my gosh, it was a day. Like I had faced so many obstacles and it was very challenging, but I didn't let that like fluster me. Like I knew at the end of the day, like this is just a growth opportunity and we're just all here to learn. So any setbacks, like it's just a part of the process. So yes.
Any advice you would give from the struggles you had and everything you learned?
Okay, some of the struggles I had, of course, was like being there. I don't want to say they were like hard to interview, but they're definitely not for the camera. Like they don't want to do it, and so like having to pivot as far as that, and then like some of like sourcing, like I needed the presentation, like they couldn't give me access to that, so having to go around that, and then coming back, and then again my computer crashed so many times, so that wasn't working. Shout out to Josh because he really helped me. But yeah, just focusing on like, okay, let's figure this out. And then relying on my teammates. Like, y'all are great. Like, I've asked so many of y'all for help. So you were really right on that one. Like, use your people around you to help you out. So that's all I got.
So happy to hear that. Yeah. Catherine.
One thing, well, I won't say what I did good, but I was very passionate about my piece, which is good. And I think my interviews went very well, talking about an important issue. I think my problem came with the fact that I pivoted what I wanted it to focus on, and only after all my content did I realize it wasn't going to work because of a lack of, I don't even know how I would describe it.
I think it was just you couldn't get your sources to get on the record.
Intertwine.
So that you could connect the two sides of the story, which were connected, but you rightfully, your gut feeling and your sense of ethics told you that you'd rather not make that connection, even though it would have been factually correct, but you felt like you didn't have enough information, and it would have been disingenuous with the people you had interviewed to go in that direction. And so nothing is lost. You've developed contacts, you have information that you can use and develop, and that was a very complicated story, and nothing is lost. I think it's a learning opportunity. It happens to professionals. That is something that can happen. And anything you learned that you would apply in the future to share with the rest of us?
Definitely, if there's something I want to cover, I need to make sure that they are comfortable with talking about that. Even if they're not comfortable with talking about it, like they weren't even comfortable with me talking about it, so definitely establishing a clear line of communication. But even that's hard because when I'm in an interview, I don't know where it's going to go. Sometimes I ask questions based on answers, so it's hard to kind of set up a guideline for this is okay to mention, this isn't okay to mention.
Yeah, usually what I have is talking points and must-haves, and that helps me. I just look at the end of the interview and just to see because that's what a good interview is, follow-ups, listening. So never lose that. That's the way to do an interview. But just to make sure that you've covered all the things you wanted to cover, look at that cheat sheet with your talking points. That's what I would suggest.
Okay.
Today was kind of a lot for me. I had to pivot around a couple times with what my Grady daily was going to look like, and finding primary sources for all of the stories took me, it took me a minute to kind of get used to finding like the primary source and being able to parse out information and what's relevant. I felt like towards the end of the day I was really getting into the swing of it though, and then I felt very strong for a majority of the newscast. I felt like I was articulating myself fairly well. I felt like I had good speaking power. Obviously the end is, it happens.
Happens to the best of us, so.
I really, I wish I would have been able to ad-lib a little bit better. That was like that was definitely the thing that I felt like I need to work on the most, was being able to ad-lib when things don't go according to plan. But no, yeah, so I felt like I wrote strong leads and I was able to put out good information. And so yeah, I was pretty happy with my performance today.
Yeah, my suggestion when there's breaking news, what I used to do, again, you have to be your own best advocate. Your staff will try to write things for you as much as they can, but I was just like, I had my talking points, I had the main facts in my mind, so that if I was asked to stretch, which I was often asked, by the time, they were looking for a source that I could interview live on air, so I'm told to stretch. So I had something to say. And so that's what I would advise you. And also try to write that story yourself. Mm-hmm. Because then you know what you've written.
Yeah, so I was at the news desk getting mic'd whenever the final update had happened, and so like I didn't know what was going to be on the prompter up until moments before. It was
take your
rough.
computer with you till the last moment. You can keep changing things, and the prompter updates automatically.
Okay.
So we didn't have time to tell you that because everything was happening,
it was a
and
hectic
we
day.
actually confirmed the death. Like what was like 10 minutes, five minutes,
yeah,
5 minutes before the show. And what we were focusing on is first confirming it through reputable sources, and then bringing you that updated script, which I managed to badly print on my own printer.
It worked.
That's the only thing I could do at this point.
Yeah.
But next time I would have my computer next to me, and I would keep working on that final script throughout the show, and every break I would keep working on it and make sure that everything is there. All of you, when you're anchoring, bring your computer to the desk, and you can keep changing things, updating things till the last moment, and even pre-reading your scripts in the computer if you want to. But I thought you did very well, and that this was a very tough situation for you. And yeah, but those are my only suggestions, to have had your computer next to you, and to kind of try to read ahead the next sentence. And if you've started reading the wrong sentence, to kind of try to get yourself back on track without showing the viewers. You showed just a little bit of frustration because you wanted to do better, and it showed on air, but try not to show that.
Yeah.
Or apologize, I apologize, or just kind of keep going and try to get yourself, or rather, you can say, or rather, I would say this and this. It depends on the situation, but don't show the viewers that you're frustrated. And obviously something went wrong, but you just kind of get yourself back on track, and depending on the situation, you could apologize and just keep going. But you will notice it happens to the best of people. This can happen in a breaking news situation.
Thank you.
But really know all the basic facts in your mind, and interpret what a producer tells you as something you need to figure out how you're going to do it to get yourself out of that situation. But it happens to the rest of us, so don't feel bad about it. I thought you were impressive with everything that was thrown at you at this point. And I think you learned more, and I think you'll be more confident. You've grown in confidence, I'm sure, from this experience.
Yes, thank you.
And you did a great job. Yeah, that wasn't easy. And Jordan, would you like to share what you did well and what you will do next time.
Yeah. I'm actually a little heartbroken because I really did love my piece. I loved my interviews. I loved everything that everybody said.
And
felt
I
like
saw your passion from the very morning. You were passionate about it. Yeah.
I was excited. I felt like it was really.
And what do you think tripped you up here?
So, I felt like I was fine going and getting more interviews this morning, but something I've realized about myself, even though I think I really just need to sit, I kind of had the opposite problem to Mickey, is that I am a slow editor. So even though I was really grinding, doing all the things on the videos, especially at the last minute, there's certain stuff in Premiere that I don't know how to fix properly. And like, even I was reaching out to Catherine, and she was even kind of like, I don't know what happened. Like, my whole audio got moved to this back end and cut everything I had like edited on for 2 hours. So I think my big thing is like, which I know it's got to be the news of today, but I almost feel like sometimes I need a day to edit. So I just need to get quicker.
But you did the right thing. You went the night before and you got all that footage. So do you think us throwing more interviews at you tripped you up because we put too much pressure on you to go and update that story, and that delayed you in coming to the newsroom, and you need more time? If you want to give yourself extra time to edit initially, try to do what you did. You went in the evening, you had your interviews, you had everything, and just work on the story the way you filmed it the day before, and try to give yourself extra time editing until you get better at it. The more you do it, the better you'll get at it. So maybe that's something you could do, just knowing that you need a little more time so that you are able to produce a story. And then when you get better and faster, you could do like quick turn and filming things at the last moment. But maybe that's something that you could, we asked you to go and redo certain things and change the angle a little bit.
Yeah.
So maybe that could have helped to give yourself a little more time to deal with Premiere Pro.
Yeah, because I honestly even liked like the quick turn of like the excitement of like, go this day and go get the interview and
I could tell you were excited about it. It didn't faze you.
Yeah, that's the part I like, but it's
and you learned from that. You learned how that maybe you gained confidence that you could go and you could get more information. You could turn to a different angle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that what tripped you up, you're saying, is just
the editing. I'm
the editing.
embarrassingly slow at it, so I just need to.
And just try a little bit when you have a little free time to just practice. That's the only way you can get faster. If you can practice a little bit with some practice video, and you've got a whole semester, you'll get it. Yeah.
Thank you.
But be more realistic with yourself. And you can tell us, no, I can't. I'll stick to what I have, and so that I can finish something in time until you get better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. That's it. Laurie?
I think something that I struggled with today was just knowing the difference between a good story and news. I had, I think, a strong interview. I had good B-roll. I liked my script, but when we talked, it was just kind of, okay, like, why now? Why does this matter? It was kind of PR. So I should have either had something that made it timely or something that made it important to people outside of who the food bank serves directly. It should have been something that a lot of people could have cared about, or something with a much more clear focus, I think.
Yeah, I think you're a strong writer. You had good sound bites. It was a good script, but the thing is just it wasn't a today story. It wasn't tied to something new, as we discussed. Maybe they received a new grant, so they're able to feed more people, right? Or they have cuts in their budget, so now they have to, they're struggling, so they're not providing children in this school with with lunches. I'm making this up, right? So that makes it newsworthy because there's some kind of change. Something has happened, whether good or bad. Or there's a new study about child nutrition or something, and you go to them and they tell you how they deal with this. So tied to something now, happening now, today. And that was, otherwise I liked your script.
Yeah.
I liked, and always have different sides of the story also.
And
You're a good writer, good choice, very short, nice sound bites. So that was well done, well done. The thing that we need to work on, and with everybody, is just to find those, and we did a lot of practice this morning, thinking about newsworthiness and having a so-called news spec. But it's early in the semester, it's only our first show, so I think everybody gave it their best, and I think you should all be proud of today. And I thank you, all of you, for your hard work. Tyler, thank you very much. You started us off very strong with some good trends and some good thinking.
Okay, well, I'll keep it brief also because it's 6. One hiccup I had was I'm really not good with social media. I know next to nothing about it. I don't really have any accounts beside Instagram, in part because we had to make those in reporting 1. So it was a big learning day for me, but I think a positive is that if I had to do this again, I feel like I can do it.
And that's what it's about.
Yes, and also shout out to Lauren because she helped me a lot because she was the person, on Monday who did this. So I went to her with quite a few questions.
Super duper team player.
Yes. That's it.
And I think